Now, Sunday on ABC.
Mark Cuban. Who could have thought that being a businessman was in itself a skill of its own?
Business is the ultimate sport.
With an estimated net worth of $4.4 billion, Mark Cuban, one of America's wealthiest entrepreneurs, is best known for his appearance as an investor on ABC's Shark Tank. He's a billionaire, an investor, a big spender, and has a Guinness World Record to his name. Mark Cuban owes a greater percentage of his wealth to his faultless ability to make the most lucrative investments, from stocks to small and large-scale businesses and even the real estate sector. However, while this man now has enough money to buy almost anything he could possibly want, he had pretty humble beginnings. One of his most popular childhood stories was from a time when he asked his dad for money to get a shoe. His father taught him a lesson that kickstarted the entrepreneur that we now know him to be. He had asked his father for a shoe and he had seen on somebody. His father replied by pointing out that the shoes he was wearing at the time were still functional and that if he wanted the shoes he had seen, then he would have to work for it. That moment led Cuban to begin his first entrepreneurial hustle. His first business was selling garbage bags to his neighbors for $6 each. From that, he moved into ordering and selling newspapers after the local newspapers went on a strike. Other jobs Mark Cuban has handled include whipping up cocktail concoctions as a bartender, selling powdered milk, and also working as a dance instructor. Cuban graduated in 1981 with a degree in business administration and returned home to start his career. Upon returning to his small town, Cuban's will kept him unsatisfied with the condition of his finance, so he decided to move to Dallas, Texas. Moving to Dallas at the age of 24, Cuban was living in a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 other people. At this point, he had no room or closet. If he came back too late, he had to settle for the floor or couch, depending on how late he arrived home. All he had was a pile that everyone knew belonged to him. The car he drove around was a 77 Fiat times 19 that had the infamous hole in the floorboard you could find in every broke person's car. Shortly after moving to Dallas, Cuban got employed as a computer software salesman at a computer company, Your Business Software. Despite his lack of relevant experience, call it luck, call it grace, call it whatever you want, this was a turning point for Cuban's finances, and he learned everything practical he knew about a computer by staying extra hours and practicing with computers. Cuban earned $18,000 a year as a computer software salesman, and he believed that all the time he consumed at this job has paid off in his success today. However, Cuban was fired for the first year of taking the job because of closing a deal without approval from the CEO. Getting fired motivated the entrepreneur in him once again, and he decided to start a software company of his own called MicroSolutions. His first company grew into a big name in a very short time, and he was able to sell the business for $6 million. Seeing Cuban's journey through the money tree, we can now look into how he spends and earns his money. As we mentioned earlier, the man loves to invest, and he's most popular for his investment in stocks. Mark Cuban has invested millions upon millions of hard cash in different company stocks, all of which have paid out in huge returns. His biggest investment holdings are in worldwide brands Amazon and Netflix. While he does not give much detail about just how much he has in those companies, reports from 2019 claim that Cuban has a stake summing up to a whopping $1 billion in Amazon. He's also popularly known for his role as a shark on the hit reality television show Shark Tank, and has invested just under $20 million in more than 80 small businesses on the show since joining the program in 2012. He has also previously invested in a business called AudioNet, exceeding the owner of the business in stakes, changed its name to Broadcast.com, and sold it to Yahoo for $5.7 billion in 1999. If there's any growing business that looks like it has a bright future ahead of it, then you can guess that Mark Cuban has invested some kind of money in that business and be correct. This guy is a genius. However, this does not mean that the man only spends money on investments. He also likes to spend on his pleasures. After first joining the Billionaires Club, Cuban flew with a group of friends to Las Vegas, where they spent most of their time drinking and having fun. After long nights of getting drunk, Cuban took his girlfriend Tiffany Stewart on vacation to the Bahamas. While Cuban enjoys hitting the bars and clubs with his boys occasionally for good times and thrills, he still considered it the dumbest thing he splurges on. What about when Cuban is not investing or ingesting? Well, you will find him in his $13 million French chateau-style mansions of 24,000 square foot located in the Preston Hollow neighborhood of Dallas, Texas.
The place is enormous. 24,000 square feet. Still to this day, don't know how many bedrooms or bathrooms.
Whew, that's a handful. Cuban and his family currently live in the house with his 10 bedrooms, a spa, a pool, wet bars, and a tennis court on a 7-acre estate. Whenever Cuban and his family feels like they could use a change of scenery, they move to their vacation estate in the private areas of Montage Residences community. This property is nothing short of amazing, with its 6 bedrooms, walls that disappear to reveal an outdoor space, a private infinity pool, and a fascinating view of the Pacific Ocean. This property set Cuban back $19 million. His next major expenditure would be his $40 million private jets, which he purchased online in 1999. The Gulfstream 5 business jet still holds the title for the largest ever single e-commerce transaction in the Guinness Book of World Records. Cuban said at the time that he researched the jet on Gulfstream's website and arranged the purchase with the company over email before he had never seen the plane himself. While some might deem a private jet a bad investment that will consistently cost hundreds of thousands of dollars monthly, Cuban considered it a small price to pay for his most valuable asset, time. Several weeks after Cuban purchased his jet, Cuban made an even bigger splurge. In January of 2000, he paid $285 million for a majority stake in the Dallas Mavericks basketball team. Under his ownership, the team won an NBA championship in 2011 and, according to Forbes, is now valued at an estimated $2.3 billion. However, when Cuban bought the basketball team, he said it never crossed his mind as an investment. "I did it because I love basketball," he told CNBC. Make it. Cuban reportedly started investing more money into the team immediately, paying to install DVD players and TVs in each player's stall in the locker room. He upgraded the arena's jumbotron and even bought a new team plane, a $36 million Boeing 757. He has also burned huge sums paying off fines. Being openly critical of the NBA and some of the refereeing has him breaking rules that cost him fines running into 5 figures. Cuban also owns his own media production company, 2929 Entertainment, which was founded with Todd in 2003. That same year, they both purchased Landmark Theaters, the largest movie theater chain in the USA. The production company is credited for working with some of the biggest names in Hollywood, initiating a revolution in the industry and creating some very impressive titles. Now, when he's not living the dream in luxury, Mark Cuban is also a big giver. In 2012, he donated money to a legal, non-profit organization called Electric Frontier Foundation to support their work. His foundation, the Mark Cuban Foundation, initiated the Fallen Patriot Fund that helps families of U.S. military personnel who were either injured or killed during the Iraq War. In 2015, he funded the Technology Center and Basketball Court for the Indiana University of Bloomington. Other charities and foundations the billionaire has supported include Autism Speaks, Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, Christopher and Donna Reed Foundation, Elton John AIDS Foundation, Robert F. Kennedy Memorial, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, the Humane Society, amongst many others. It is quite evident what Cuban has been up to with his billion-dollar fortune. Many people daydream about what they would do if they had $1 billion to spend. Interestingly, Cuban never thought he would ever become as wealthy as he did today. And what would you do with $4 billion? Be sure to let us know in the comment section down below. In the meantime, be sure to hit a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next upload. See you in the next one.